Okay, trying to set this thing up because for some reason it is absolutely not, it is not letting me do a horizontal live. It keeps telling me to rotate the device, which I'm trying to do, and it is not letting me. This is crazy. This is crazy. So if, oh, there are people here. I'm going to just leave it alone. It's crazy. Hi, Rita. I'm glad you were able to get in. I don't know what the heck is wrong with this thing. It will not let me do a horizontal live, so I'm stuck in vertical form until I can figure this thing out or change my phone. One or the other. It has been quite a day. I just got home a very little while ago, and I'm really tired because I feel like the Energizer Bunny without as much energy. Yesterday, I was going to try to work because I really don't want to be working. I'm horizontal on your phone? You're kidding. And it won't let me do it in horizontal. That is so weird. I don't know what to make of this. I used to be technologically savvy. I'm beginning to feel stupid. I really am beginning to feel stupid. I have not a clue what I'm doing that is not working from my end. And I definitely made sure that I allowed chat and I allowed comments. So anything that goes wrong with that is also beyond my control. So my original plan was not to work today so that I would be relaxed and available for this time. But I actually haven't worked this week at all, and I desperately to, like it or not. So I went out today and I set myself a time limit for 7:30 my time, figuring that if I gave myself an hour to grab a quick bite and try to set this thing up, that should work. Well, it worked such as it is, so it is what it is. But the reason I didn't work yesterday was actually a lovely reason. I got a call from David on Monday. David was supposed to be in this week, and I was supposed to see him and Dylan and have a day with the two of them. But it turned out that David had not been able to reach me, but because of some things that are going on in his business world, the timing was off, so he was not able to come in. This week, I think the plan currently is to do it in a week or two, I'm not sure. But, and the last week or two of Dylan's stay in New York was crazy busy because he has a very close friend who had never been to New York, and he came in. He lives in he lives in Arizona, but he's going to college in Georgia. So he came in for a week, and he and Dylan decided to explore Manhattan together. And apparently they had a wonderful time. They went to see everything. But the problem is that it left him exhausted. So he contacted me on Monday, and he said that his dad was not going to be in as planned, but would I like to see him? What a silly question. Of course. So I wound up with him yesterday, and that was lovely. We wound up going out for lunch. I spent about 4 hours with him. We went to a place that was a little distance away, so we had a bit of a ride and a chance to really kind of chat again. He is such a joy to spend time with. and to chat with. I absolutely adore that young man. And I think he's headed down a really interesting road. I think I mentioned to you last time that he's thinking very seriously of possibly exploring different parts of Europe on his journey to becoming a chef. Good idea, because exploring food, hello, Charlie channel, hi, welcome. And for him to explore food as made in different countries and different ways can only be a wonderful thing for him as time goes by. Of course, his father, having an entrepreneurial spirit, was thinking how he could really do wonderful things if he chose to cook for people the way the chefs do for the stars a lot, where they just will be hired by somebody to do a dinner party or dinner for two or something like that. And that could be really interesting. I think you certainly can. You absolutely can. My pleasure. So again, I think there are so many different options open to him going down that road. And I think, hi, Barbara. I think I think it'll be a really interesting life for him. And he seems to have a really good head on his shoulders. For example, we were talking about him with a car, because right now he and his mother share a car. So they have just her car that when she's not using it, he does. And he said pretty soon he's going to have to think about getting a car of his own. And I asked him if he had anything in mind, anything that he would really like or be interested in. And he said no. He said he really wanted to get something practical, something that wouldn't cost too much, that would get good mileage, that would be serviceable, and that he could easily deal with. That's amazing to me for a young man in today's world, not wanting to get the best or the most advanced or the newest technology or any of that stuff. So I'm very, very proud of him. I told him that he flew home today, and he is back there as of this evening. So that part of it is good. I wanted to show you, I had taken a few pictures, as I tend to do. Oh, and by the way, this is just a little aside. Getting tired of looking at my hair the same way all the time. I don't know if I could do it because my hair is baby fine. It's very thin. But I thought I'd like my hair to look a little bit like Queen Camilla's hair. Do you think I could do something like that? I think just for a change of pace. I think I have one of my wigs has that kind of look, but I thought it would be something a little bit different for me. And I thought I might like that. So if anybody thinks it's doable, or if anybody thinks it would look good, let me know. You might also let me know if you don't think it would look good on me, so that's okay too. But let me show, okay, so I finally got a shot of the two of us because I forgot to ask somebody to take our picture yesterday, but this was us on the way back to taking him back to his other grandmother's house, where he was spending the last evening of his holiday. So that was a lot of fun. He's just so easy to get along with. I mean, look, is he cute or what? Maybe it's just me, but I think he's adorable. Yeah, Barbara, I think it might be. I think it might be nice to try it. Maybe I should try to find that wig and see how that style looks on me before doing anything with my actual hair. So we'll see. But I also, nope, that's not it. I had taken some pictures. I think I just have the videos here. Let's see. Oh my God, I came across this. The picture of my little girl when she got herself caught in the plastic bag. Remember? She was wearing the plastic bag. So that was, hi. Um, and I think that, I mean, it's definitely time for me to groom her. I just have not had the time to do it. I can't find those photos that I took. I should have tried to set it aside. I can't find it now, so that's frustrating. It was really wonderful. We went to an Italian restaurant. Yeah, you think that I would have to curl it. Yeah, I definitely am not up for that. I don't even blow my hair dry anymore. Most of the time I let it air dry. I've been using that shampoo that they used in the hospital and that they used in rehab because it's not, I don't have the frizzies that I have with my more expensive shampoo. So I'm really enjoying that Derma Vera, I think it's called. It's amazing to me. I mean, look, let me come in tight. There is a little bit of frizz. It was really, really hot today. I actually thought twice about whether or not I should work because at one point I think it was close to 100 degrees out. It's nice and comfortable in my car. It takes a lot of juice for it to run the air conditioner on a comfort level when it's that hot out. And it's harder, but I would not be without it because just getting out to pick something up and then come back in the car to drive to the delivery was challenging enough. I wouldn't want to have to do it if I were, if I were, it's not hair friendly, but it's also not body friendly. It was just so awful. Barbara, the car is so incredible in the heat in terms of its ability to keep cool, its ability to cool down quickly. I don't have an enormous amount of sunlight in the front of my house anymore. I did when I first moved in, but the trees have grown in very full and it's shady a good part of the day. So it doesn't get as hot as it otherwise would if I had to really cool it off like that. The air conditioner works great and it's quiet and I can have it blow at me slightly above, straight up. I can split it and have it go both ways because as I say, it's not just, it doesn't have the separate vents that most cars have for air conditioners. The vent on this car goes all the way across the whole dashboard and you can direct the flow any place you want. So that is a really wonderful thing. The longer I have the car, I am developing a very long list of likes and a short list of dislikes. I will say that I will never again, I would never again get a car that does not have stalks, because the technology supposedly shifts it from reverse into drive when you do certain things, but it does not work 100% of the time. And when it does not work, it's terrifying. So I'm aware of the occasional glitch with it. So I'm really, really careful when I need to shift gears. But as I say, it can be a scary thing. Talking about scary things, by the way, tonight I sort of was rushing home a little bit from the last job because the AC, Barbara, the AC, okay, Sandy. The AC in the back, they have their own vents and they have a screen. They can direct theirs any place they want it. So yes, it's equally wonderful for people in the back seat. It really is terrific. The car also has heated and cooled seats in the front. The back only has the heated seats. I think that would be a real benefit if it did the heated and cooled seats. Also, it is absolutely incredible, Barbara. It's got a lot of wonderful things about it. I will say that, but not everything. All right, I started to tell you, I came back. I was a few towns away for the last job, and I wanted to come back taking the Parkway because I figured it would be the fastest. And I wanted to leave myself a little bit of time before I came on. So I went to get on the Parkway. It was still rush hour. It was the latter part of rush hour. But the entrance on this particular exit is, very, very interesting. I'd love to hear more about it, Sandy. It's a very, very short entrance on that exit of the Parkway. So I get on. I cannot get on the Parkway. So the exit is short. I'm sitting there. There was a car behind me on the ramp to get on, which is a very tight circle to get on at that place. And he desperately wanted to get around me, in front of me. He was honking at me for not rushing onto the Parkway. I would have gotten killed or gotten somebody else killed if I had done it. It was not safe. So I sat there waiting for a space in which to insert myself. Well, he tried twice to get on before me, but he realized after he tried it that he did not have the space to do it either. So he wound up the second time jackknifing and coming back in just behind me, and then started to honk at me, and he was cursing at me, and I was astounded because where was he going? There was no separation in traffic that left any space big enough not to only threaten the car getting on, but cars that were on the road. So that was a really, really frightening thing. When he got on, I was like, you are crazy. And so, my father always used to say, just because the other person is crazy doesn't mean I have to be crazy. And I think of that so very often because people do things that are nuts. Well, Gustavo, I'm not sure about why you're saying please come to Brazil, but I'm not sure if that's for the driving, because driving is crazy there. I know in a lot of parts of the world, there are really, really crazy drivers. But I want to live to see another day. So for me, I'm perfectly happy to take an extra couple of minutes. Okay, Sandy was saying that the kids came home from Greece, so they're just getting back to routine. It was the trip of a lifetime, I'm sure it was. How wonderful. Oh, he was a honker and a tailgater? Oh, yeah. I hate people who do that. I really do. It's absolutely terrifying. I have a picture in my mind of one episode when David was a teenager, and I was on the parkway getting off at the exit in the town just east of me. And I realized a little bit too late that the exit was right there. So I got off a little, it was more, a little jerky a movement than I normally would make, because I'm basically a really, I would not overly cautious, but cautious driver and a sensible driver. But as I went up the ramp to get off that exit, I saw David raise his legs and put his knees up in front of him, bracing himself as if I was going to kill him. I don't know if he would remember that episode. It was a very long time ago. But it's funny how the little vignettes that make up your life are come back to haunt you. All right, Sandy was saying they went to Athens, Santorini, and Parvos. Is that what it says? Yeah, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm not sure I'm seeing it right. Yeah, no, I think it's wonderful anytime that you can do that. I know Dylan was telling me when he had a chance to go to England, he just had a wonderful time. He went with his friend Lance, again, because Lance was doing some part of his schooling in London for a short period of time, and Dylan met him over there. And I think that actually might have been what made him feel as if he really wanted to incorporate that in his training or in his life experience. So good for him. Sandy's saying her son-in-law grew up there, the sunsets, the places they stayed, but it was hot in Athens. Oh, I'd love to see the pictures, Sandy. Do send them. Yeah, I would really love to see that. I actually, I have to see some pictures. Also, I asked Dylan to send me some of his photographs that he took in New York, and I'll try to share them with you. My nephew, my brother Marty's son, Neil is a reporter with the New York Times, and he's a wonderful reporter, but he is also an incredible photographer. And he has done the most beautiful, beautiful photographs. I don't know if I can share them with you. I'd have to ask him. I don't know if he would allow that, but I would have to ask him if I could do it, and I will. But he's great. But Dylan has a really good eye. He really has a good eye. So it's terrific being able to see them develop all these wonderful talents. Oh, that's really funny. Your friend got 2 dogs and named them Rolex and Timex? Okay. I mean, that's, yeah. Those are distant shores. They're what? Oh, I walked right into that one, didn't I? She says they're watchdogs. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, I don't know that I'm going to read your comments anymore. So, 'tis what it is. Anyway, I started to tell you, and I realized why I can't do the photographs, because they're on the phone that I'm using. Dylan does, I think, have a very exciting life ahead of him. It's amazing to me, because watching the kids grow up and not knowing what road they're going to choose or what passions they will have. I think I've mentioned to you before, with my own brother Steve, I mean, Steve, when he was 11 years old, went to a science fair and he came home and said that he wanted to be a nuclear physicist. And I looked at him with that look that only an older sister could have. And I said, Steve, there are so many things you're going to want to be before, by the time you grow up. So just relax and enjoy this time, and you'll see where life takes you. He proved me wrong. He spent his entire life as a nuclear physicist doing some quite remarkable work. And he knew early on the road that his life was going to take. So that was interesting. And I'm not sure 100% where Zach is headed, but Zach is also, I'm sure, headed to a good place. They are really, they're grounded. They're really grounded. So I'm extremely happy for both of them. Thank you very much. I appreciate the hello. So anyway, when we went for dinner, this particular place serves during the week from Monday to Friday, I think. They serve a 3-course lunch, as some of the places seem to. So they had a huge menu of options, and I chose chicken franchise. Oh, your grandson starts college next week. It goes way too fast. It really goes way too fast. Yeah, I think, Dylan bypassed that route and went directly into his work arena, and I can only trust his instincts. He's an unbelievable cook and baker. I really think, I told him he should sell his stuff online. They do not have, I mean, he even makes bagels. They don't sell bagels that are anything like New York bagels, certainly not in Arizona. I don't think they do in California either, but that might have a better shot. Yeah, Sandy was saying that her grandson's mom, her daughter, is nuts and he hasn't left yet. It's extremely hard when the kids move away, when they start to move on and they start to spread their wings, but it's so important for them. And I'm sure we all love it on the level that we want them to go and have experiences that will really color their lives and create incredible memories for them. But on the other hand, it's hard to let go. I'm sure you all hear Ruby. The reason Ruby is doing what she's doing tonight, it's twofold. Number one, I ran out of her regular food, and I've been trying to feed her interim stuff until the delivery comes, because she gets this frozen food, and I don't really want to be buying other stuff because her stomach is used to this, and I don't want her to get sick. So I'm trying to fill in with things until that delivery gets here. And it takes a full day for each package to defrost enough for her to eat it. So she's being a little bit loud today. I'm going to try next time to do the live from downstairs, and perhaps by then I will have her already groomed, so maybe she can share in the experience and you can see it. By the way, could the rest of you tell me whether you're watching this in horizontal or in vertical mode, because it would not let me film it in horizontal. It kept telling me to rotate my phone, and when I rotated my phone, it did absolutely nothing. So again, there's something really screwy going on with this. I need to have it fixed or replace the phone. And I just don't need that extra expense right now. I really don't. So I'm trying to hang in the best that I can. So we'll see, but it's vertical for you. Yeah, it's vertical for me making it, but yeah, except the replay. I don't understand the chat because I have put it on every way that is available to me. And again, unfortunately, my days have been so crazy busy. I honestly feel as if I get up in the morning and somebody needs to wind me up in the back and just give me a little push and get my day started, and it keeps going until it's time for me to collapse at night and fall asleep in my chair. It's just exhausting. It's really exhausting. I feel as if I don't really have a life. I mean, fortunately for me, I don't have a life. So right now, I guess that's okay because I don't have time for it. But it would be nice to have a life. It really would. I suspect, although I don't know it to be 100% fact, but I suspect one of my friends, whom I've sort of lost touch with a little bit in the recent couple of years, might be getting married very shortly. And if that's the case, I'm really happy for her that her world is going to be taking a new direction. And she seems extraordinarily happy. And she certainly deserves some happiness in her life because she's gone through some difficult times with the greatest attitude, the greatest attitude. She doesn't complain. Hi, I see that you're here, which means you're not sleeping. Nice to see you, Ange. Um, yeah, so it's it would be nice to have. All right, Sandy just sent a photo. Okay. Oh, she was showing pictures of the different places. So yeah, I'm gonna have. Oh yeah, I actually this is really funny. I'm gonna show it. I'm guessing since you showed it to me, you're not gonna mind my showing it to everybody else. They have almost this exact scene in one of the Greek restaurants that I go to. The funny thing is, I had several deliveries from a restaurant called Greek Cove here. The food was smelling so good, and I was saying that as I was sitting in the car. I said, the food smells so delicious, or I'm starving. It could have been a combination thereof, but that food really, really smelled good. Occasionally, I get something in the car that does not smell lovely. It's a problem. I'm gonna take a look at one more, and then I'm going to look at the rest of them, Sandy, after I get off because it's way too easy for me to lose my train of thought these days, and I really don't want to do that. I have to tell you, I've been so sad on so many levels. I don't let myself stay in that place because I'm just not that person. I don't want to wallow in self pity and say, poor me, I'm going through a tough time. Everybody goes through their rough times, and it is what it is. And it's not what you have to deal with in life that's as important as how you deal with it, because there are lessons for us to learn from, and the better we do with them, the less we'll have to repeat them. So I don't usually do that, but I think having lost a few people and my friend Linda, I pass her house, and I put her house in quotes, very often during my days. And every time I pass in the general vicinity, I have this overwhelming feeling that, okay, thanks, Sandy. I have this overwhelming feeling that that she doesn't live there anymore. And then I have the thought, she doesn't live anywhere now where I can reach her easily anyway. So it makes me very sad. And what makes me doubly sad for her is that she spent so much of the last part of her life, and by the last part of her life, um, yeah, I know Ruby's telling me something. The last part of her life was a matter of years. It started a while after her husband died. My friend Linda was always of the opinion, she always had the feeling that she could not function on this earth without a man taking care of her. So she always was looking for that person to take care of her. She always wanted somebody to take care of her. And I used to say to her, she spent years of her life, I felt, just waiting to die, because she would spend days and days and days on end without even getting out of bed, or getting out of bed long enough to go into the kitchen occasionally and make something for herself, or to have one of the people that she lived with do it for her. I was going to do Linda's makeup. I never did. She, it was hard for her to have me do it. And then she got so bad with the dementia that it was no longer the Linda that I knew. It was just not her. And it's so hard. I've seen so many people go through that with people that they love, and having that kind of a thing is going through two deaths with the same person, because you lose the essence of who they are. She did, Sandy. She drove me to my appointment. She drove me to almost every single one of my radiation appointments. I think she missed maybe two. There were 25 appointments. She was such a good friend. She was such a good friend. I will always remember that. I will always cherish that. I will always be grateful for the help and for her just wanting to be there. The interesting thing was, she did not have the capability as a person to be there on an emotional level. She couldn't handle that kind of stuff. I think maybe she had a very difficult relationship with her mother, and she didn't have the kind of warmth and caring and understanding and all of that. So maybe that's what it was about, but she couldn't function on that level. But I've always learned to accept people for who they are, not try to make them into what they cannot be. You accept them for what they are. My neighbor, Sandy, my neighbor, did move. She moved months ago, but she moved just down the street. But she might as well be a nation away, because I almost never see her. So yeah, and I kind of had a very difficult thing to deal with that, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I'm sort of tempted to share it here. She and I had a really great relationship for the whole 30 years that I know her. And I mean, she always used to say that I was like her big sister. And I mean, she was just a good soul. Her age is closer to David's age than to mine, but it didn't matter. I've never related to people on an age basis. It's always been what what you have between you, the feelings that you share, the true caring that exists between you. And okay, I'm going to share it with you because it was very, very disturbing to me. And I'm not, once again, I am not going to get into any of the stuff with the separation that I had with Ken, which still exists. I mean, we are no longer part of each other's lives, but I have some wonderful memories of wonderful things, and that's a gift. But when we had that last conversation, that was very, very hard to deal with because I was trying to talk to him about things that were affecting me on an emotional level. It was very hard for me when I came home from the hospital. I was alone in the house. I was very frail, didn't know what I was capable of doing, and I was all alone essentially. So anyway, to make a long story short, where it comes to that, when I had mentioned to Ken that I was feeling more alone than I had ever felt in my life, and I said that he was spending a great deal of time on dealing with his brother and brother-in-law's stuff. And I said because all of that was going on, I felt as if what I should do was to back away for a little while so that I would no longer expect to see him or have him help me with things. And it would be easier for me not to worry every minute of every day about what I could or could not accomplish or how I could or could not survive. So I said that, but you know, it's a funny thing, and I know this is true, and I know it's true of all of us, because if you think of the game telephone that kids used to play, where you'd have a whole line of kids sitting around, and the first person would whisper something into the ear of the second one, and down the line, and at the end, the last person would say out loud what was whispered in their ear, and it was never the same thing that was said. So apparently, what Ken heard was not what I said. What he heard was different, and it obviously hurt him a lot. And I understand that, but again, it wasn't what I said. But what happened was when he was on his way home, I believe, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but I believe so. He sent me some text messages telling me that my neighbor agreed to help with Ruby for him because he was such a great guy. And she agreed to do it for Ruby because she was, she was a terrific dog and she certainly needed the help, but she was not going to do it for me. Because apparently, all of a sudden, according to what he said that I took my key back from her, and I told her I wanted my key. It was my key and I wanted it back. It never happened. If Nikki said that, and I don't question his telling me his truth, but what it said was that she obviously couldn't stand me and because I supposedly took this key. What had happened, in fact, was that I had gone to her one day because the second I closed my front door, I went, ah, I locked myself out and I was devastated. I had nothing, I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get in my house, and I remembered that she had a key. Now, my leg was killing me at that point. It happened before my surgery. She lives now, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 houses down. It's a walk. I can't really walk. Oh, I couldn't, certainly. I was in a lot of pain. So I made it down to her place, and I wound up sitting there for a while. And I asked her if she could please loan me the key because I needed to get back into my house and I wouldn't be there for Ruby. It would be terrible. So I think that's right. I don't think I had my phone either because I was just going out. I might have been going out to throw out garbage. I might have been going down to I couldn't have been going to my car. I would have had the key. Maybe I did have it. I don't recall the details well enough to give you a blow-by-blow description of it, but I wound up waiting in her place because she had just moved and she still had the key back at her old place. So she needed somebody to go over there and get the key. So I wound up sitting there and we were chatting amiably as we always had. She was a wonderful neighbor. She was a wonderful friend. And I thought we had a great relationship. So when I got back, when I finally got the key and I got back to my house, she had the key to the back door. So it meant I had to walk into the backyard, which I was terrified of doing at that point because my leg was killing me. The tumor was obviously pressing on something. And I was afraid of falling. So I did make it around there, got to the back door, put the key in the lock, and it didn't work. And I jiggled it and I jiggled it and I took it out and I put it back in and I tried over and over and over again. She had two keys for a top lock and a bottom lock. I was able to, I think I was able to get the bottom lock open. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I couldn't get the door open. At that point, I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I was in desperate trouble. So I came around to the front of my house, and I don't know what made me decide to walk up the steps, go to the front door, and say, okay, let me try the door again. Let me see if there's anything I can do. And miracle of miracles, I obviously, when I closed the door, it wasn't that final little click that made it totally locked. It was locked, but I was able to push it open. And I stood there and I said, thank you, God. I was so grateful that I was able to get back in the house. But by then, I was thoroughly exhausted. I was in a lot of pain. And I wound up calling her and telling her that I was not going to return the key to her because it didn't work. So I said, I'm going to replace the keys. I'll go have new keys made and I'll give you the new keys. But after that happened, it was getting closer and closer to time to go to the hospital. She's making me crazy. And I never did get a chance to get the keys made. So there I was, kind of left feeling like not only did I lose the relationship that I had with Ken, but I lost the one other person who could help me when I was in desperate trouble. And it was devastating. It was really devastating. So that's the story. And as I say, I'm not going to get into anything else. I don't like to air dirty laundry. It is not who I am. I don't. And I think so much of what people say reflects their truth as of the moment that they said it. It is not necessarily their truth on a regular basis. It is not necessarily the truth if you were to ask them any time down the road. So that is, I know over a key, and it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But so of course what I did was what I would normally do. I called her and I said to her, I know, I know. I just I said to her, did you tell him that I asked you for the key back and I told you I didn't want you to have my key? She always had my key. Why would I not want her to have my key when I was in trouble? Well, yeah, but it was a difficult time for her, Barbara, too. She had just moved. She was exhausted. She was taking care of her three grandchildren. She had her son and daughter-in-law who were moving into the house with her. I mean, it was a crazy, crazy time for her. So I was just grateful to be able to have it. I mean, she was wonderful too. There were times when I had stomach problems. I do have that diverticulosis, so occasionally my stomach acts up, and I really, it feels more like irritable bowel syndrome occasionally. But she makes the most incredible basmati rice. I have asked her over and over again to give me the recipe. I would love to make it myself. And she keeps telling me, don't be silly, I'll make it for you. That's funny, Sandy. Yeah, I mean, keeping somebody else's keys is, is just something that you do as a good neighbor, to be there for your neighbor or to be there for your friend or whatever. I can't imagine it being any other way. I just I just can't imagine it. But it was so hurtful to think that not only, I mean, what it said to me was, you are now 100% alone. That's it, kid. So it was a very, very tough time for me. So it was interesting because now it's funny how sometimes good things come from bad things. Oh, okay. Take care, Ange. I'm glad you stopped by and I'm glad you have to go because I'm hoping you're going to sleep. Exactly. I mean, Sandy just said, it means that you trust each other, although I locked my jewels in the toilet bowl tank. I'm not going to even question what jewels. So it just made it difficult. So I was feeling so depressed. I would get up in the morning and I didn't know what to do with myself. I couldn't go anywhere at that point. I was trapped in the house. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I was afraid of killing myself in the house. I couldn't lift Ruby. I couldn't do anything. And the days are very, very long when you feel 100% alone. I don't know, some of you may remember this from my first surgery when I first started to do the lives. And my brother Marty used to call me when I came home. I'd been away for 2 months from that surgery and rehab and the MRSA infection and all of that. And Marty used to call me every night. I used to speak to him easily for an hour, hour and a half every night. And he was just wonderful. And he kept telling me how well I was doing. He said, given the circumstances, you're really doing incredibly well. Just don't be so hard on yourself. And then I had all of you. So I had the lives, and we would do that. I did the lives every night, I think, for a while. It was wonderful. So it really helped me a lot. But this time I was feeling really totally alone. So, I mean, I have the friends that I have, but they have their own issues, and everybody's getting older and has things that they have to deal with. So you have to accept people exactly as they are and exactly with what they're capable of in a relationship without trying to make it into something it's not. So I had, I still had the people coming a little bit from the at-home care from when I got home from rehab. So a couple of them, and they kept asking me how I felt, and I said that I was very stressed and I was very, very frightened, and I didn't know how I was going to survive, and I didn't know how I could get back to work, and I didn't know how anything could work. So they said that they wanted to have a social worker talk to me, and I said, fine. So the social worker contacted me, and she wound up asking me if I would consider taking anti-anxiety medication. And I said, no, because it's not going to solve any problems. And I'm not looking to cover up symptoms. I'm looking for a way to get past what is not working. I'm looking for a way to get better or to feel better or to function better. So anyway, when I said no to that, she said, would you consider talking to anybody? And I think I shared this with you before, but I said sure. And I thought they meant that somebody was going to call me and I was going to talk to the person, and that was, going to be a 1 or 2 off kind of thing. But it turned out they were talking about me talking to a therapist. And I really had never thought about it, and I certainly hadn't considered it. But I thought, I'll do anything because the tension level was so high that I really felt that it was making me sicker, and I really felt that it was going to kill me. So I needed to do something. Sandy was saying when you came home from the first surgery, a group of us were on with you, waiting for your chair. That's right. The chair was great. Yes, it was wonderful. Yeah, so anyway, so they had this therapist call me. And the first time first of all, the way they do it now is a gift. It's on the telephone. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to sit in somebody's office or lie on somebody's sofa if that's the way they do it these days. I could lie on my own sofa, which, by the way, I occasionally do, so I stretch out and relax. But we had a very nice talk the first time, and I found that I really liked her, and I really felt very comfortable talking to her. So it was a good experience. I have since had 2 other sessions with her. They've gone extremely well. They really have gone extremely well. They have helped me a lot to feel a little bit less stressed. Reality has me stressed because my world is difficult right now. But if when I'm not putting out fires and when I'm able to live through a day in a way that gets me to the next day, and if I can function the next day, then that's okay. They do it on FaceTime. I think, Sandy, I think my brother used to do that, or Zoom or something, when he was doing his therapy that way. He used to see his patients that way during and after COVID. So I think that's when that whole thing started. But yeah, it's been a good thing for me. I'm finding it really easy to be open about things. She seems to be very comfortable with the interplay that we have, and yeah. So I'm very, very happy that I did it. I'll do it, I guess, for as long as it makes sense. And it does help me. There are just some days that are hard to get through, so it helps me to do that, and I'm grateful for it. So it's a good thing. So even the bad things have a good side. Modern technology, you're absolutely right. You're lucky you don't get AI or a robot that's next. Yeah, you never know. Listen, they can be really smart. They can give you good answers. I am embracing AI within the framework of what I do and interacting with it. And it gives me a chance to kind of, it's like I have a sounding board for my ideas. So it's, oh, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. You are a crazy busy lady. I'm glad you were able to join us. Um, yeah, so it's altogether a good thing, and we'll see. I'm hoping, I had an appointment for the end of August to see my surgical oncologist, but I got a call from the office saying that she was not going to be there that week and that they had to reschedule it. So instead, I'm going to wind up having the appointment toward the end of September. And God forgive me, I'm really happy to have the extra little bit of time because until I have my next scan, I don't have anything that I need to focus on and worry about. There's plenty of time to worry if worry I must, but it gives me a little more time to try to work and kind of put pieces together and do whatever I can do. Did you see the robot walking around in New York? I think I saw a tiny bit of it, but do send it to me. Yeah, I would love to see it. Yeah, you know how we are here in New York. Yeah, so it's all good. I feel some days as if I don't have time to stop and think about anything. That might be a good thing. I also, it's an interesting thing. I don't know if this is true for any of you, but I find maybe because of my situation, maybe because of my cancer, I just, there, I find myself thinking about the end of my life more than I ever have. I don't think about it all the time. I certainly don't dwell on it. I'm not morose about it, but I think about it. And it was one of the things I had wanted to talk about in the video that I want to do about when we get to a certain age, how we really have different things that we face than any other age before that. So, yeah, I think the difference is when you're younger and you think about dying, it's out there in the future someplace. But the older you get, you're closer to it than anything that's happened, or all the life behind you. So it is what it is. Don't answer the door. It could be the Grim Reaper. Yeah, exactly. So I don't, as I say, it's passing thoughts, but I suspect it's something that a lot of us tend to think about. You do. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That had to have been so hard for you. I have been able to catch a couple of little things with you because I've been crazy busy, but I have. You seem to be doing so much better, are you? I mean, you were so close, but you're a tough lady and you're really good at kind of directing yourself in a way that is productive. So it's great. Yeah, I think we do. I think it's just something out there. Besides, I watch all those awful crime shows. Not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. It's a little bit scary. So, oh my God. I, yeah, I think, it's interesting. I watched David. Are you kidding, Sandy? Is that a joke or is that real? Sandy is saying that she keeps smelling Ben Gay around her. Are you talking about Gay, the Ben Gay? Because I never know with you whether you're just going for the laugh or whether it's a thought. Oh, okay, going for the laugh. Yeah, but a lot of people do. They really do. You take it one day at a time. Yeah, I think that's the truth. We all have to take it one day at a time. I know your heart is broken. That's unfortunately one of the biggest, it's like the price you have to pay for the kind of love that you had is terrible. It's a terrible price to pay. And it's so sad because you had something so wonderful, but it makes it that much harder when it's gone. And I know, I know that's rough, but you're an amazing woman. I want to grow up to be more like you. Um, the smell of solstice, Rob, I don't know what that is. I don't know. I have to tell you, I'm loving the smells of all the stuff I'm putting in the food that I'm doing in my air fryer these days. So lots of paprika and garlic powder. Yes, you're right, Sandy. She is very, very lucky to experience that kind of love. I think it's amazing. I often think of my mother and father. My father adored my mother. My father waited 12 years to marry my mother. He was in love with her from the time that they were young, but she was in love with somebody else, and she was with somebody else for a long time, but he didn't get married. And I guess my mother wanted to get married. She was already in her 30s, early 30s, and she wanted to have a family. And she wound up with a wonderful wife to him. But I don't think she had the same intensity of feeling for him. I know she loved him dearly and she cared for him. She had nothing ever to feel that she didn't do her very best, because I know she did. So, yeah, but for the people who have that kind of love, where you just know that you're meant for each other, you just know it's kind of like being two sides of a coin. You just, it's a wonderful thing. It really is. But I certainly was not fortunate enough to have that kind of thing in this life. I really, really firmly believe, though, that we come to this planet to learn lessons to aid in our soul's growth. But I must have been a very strong soul, and I now, as the physical person who has to live through all this stuff, is like, what? What did you say you would do? I don't know. I don't know. So it has not always been easy. I see that I'm really running long today. Is there anything that any of you wants to speak about specifically? Is there anything that you're concerned about? Yeah, definitely. Um, by the way, speaking of scents, I truly, after my mother died, there were two things. Yeah, there were two things that used to happen. One of them was that when I was in the supermarket, because we used to go together all the time, when I would get toward the end of any aisle, I would think I saw her coming toward me, because invariably she'd be in another aisle and come toward me with her basket. And the other thing was, a couple of times in the car, I had this incredible perfume smell that I said, oh my God, I feel like my mother's in the car with me. The interesting thing is, my mother didn't wear perfume, so it wouldn't have been that. But the association I had to the scent, and that it was no perfume that anybody I knew wore. It was just that kind of a smell. So it's funny. You just never know. So, yeah, I think it's time to let it go for today. I'm still trying to work on the other things. I have a couple of videos done. Getting them edited and getting them up in the 3 minutes I have left in my day is not always easy. Count on next Wednesday again at 8:30, and we'll take it from there. If you have any specific things that you would like me to talk about, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to do it. And let's see what the next week brings. Maybe something exciting will happen. Maybe one of us will win the lottery. Would be hard for me to win. I don't play. Take care, everybody. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we had this time together. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon. You know I love you. Bye-bye. See you next week.